Give Northeastern a ton of credit. Anytime you go on the road and you shoot 13 for 20 from three and 14 out of 15 on the foul line, you can give yourself a great chance to win. And they played at a really high level. So, hats off to them. I thought there were some good things for us. Clearly not enough to come out ahead. But they're a good basketball team, and they played really well.
All right, we'll start with questions for Coach. Roger from Lakers.
You say there were good things for you. What are some of the things that you sort of saw that you felt?
Well, we gave up 3 offensive rebounds. So we came in the game. There were 2 things that we talked about. We couldn't give up offensive rebounds. They just had 20 offensive rebounds in their victory over Delaware. And we only gave up 3, which I am 100% sure is a season low for us. It's the best we've ever done. We also said we had to win a turnover battle because they play big. They're really physical. They try to jam it inside, with tell forward. And some of the jamming inside for them is dribble drive, which they really hurt us with. We did a very poor job of keeping the ball in front. But we did win the turnover battle. They have 14. We have 9. So the 2 biggest keys we accomplished. But, I think it goes without saying you got to keep the other team from shooting 65% from 3. On the season, we were first in the league in three-point defense coming into today. And whether it was a bad defense, which it definitely was at times, or good offense by them, which it was at times, it kind of spelled a disaster for us from behind the arc.
It's a different animal, this conference, than the last one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not even close. I mean, the talent in this league, it's much different. I think if you just sit in the stands and look, the eye test, you look at the guys on their roster tend to be big, strong, fast, which the other league had some of that, but not near the level. And there's also the depth in this league. I mean, it's a meat grinder every night. You go out, and if you don't play well, you're going to lose. And once in a while, you're going to play okay and still lose because the other team's just pretty good. And Charleston has separated. Clearly, they're the best team in the league. But I'm not sure there's a ton of gap between 2 all the way down to probably 10. There's or certainly 9. There's a lot of parity 2 through 9. So I think you're going to see a lot of results like this. Like we went up there and we controlled the whole game and beat them, and they came in here and they controlled the whole game. I mean, we led at times, but I didn't ever feel like we were in control.
Did you feel like in the other conference, it seemed like in the America East, 85% of the time it was like the home team that won the game, right? I mean, a road win in that conference was a very big deal. Here it seems like winning on the road happens.
It does, and it does because I think a lot of these games are so close. Now, we end up losing tonight, 13, but the majority of our games in league have been 5 points or less. I mean, we beat Drexel by 1. We certainly could have gotten beat. We go to A&T and we lose by 2, and we certainly could have won. So there's going to be a lot of those games. I think any night you're not real good, you're in trouble because the other teams are just. I think what you also have is if you looked at the rosters, there are older guys in this league that some of them tended to transfer from some top 25 and high major conferences to our league. Like, on their team, I mean, the Doherty, the center, he was at Notre Dame. On our team, Frankie was at Dayton. And I think if you went through the rosters, you'd see a ton of that. And usually the good players in this league could play high major basketball. I'm telling you right now that the center at Drexel, he's the best center we saw all year. And we played some high major teams. He would have started on all of them. So, you have to play well to win, and you need. And for us, with our depth situation, we can't afford any I'll kind of call them unproductive spots or no shows. Like our key guys got to produce because we don't have any. There's no alternative to just sit you out if you don't have it going. So. Usually in a normal year, you have that. You're bad, they throw me in, I'm bad, they throw him in. And for us, it doesn't get to that, So I thought we had some guys not particularly good tonight, and that's going to really hurt us maybe more this year than in other years.
they were making them on the arc even in the first half. But Frankie had a huge last 6 minutes of the half. Can you sort of speak to what Frankie gave you at that point to give you that lead at the break?
Yeah, I mean, Frankie's been a go-to guy for us all year, and he's somebody that can score multiple ways. He's really good in the mid-post. Obviously, he's an excellent three-point shooter. We don't get him a ton of spot threes because we just don't have a lot of dribble drive. You know, Toby gives us that, but we don't get to the rim a lot. And so when you don't get to the rim a lot, you don't get a lot of penetration in pitch threes. So Frankie's had to adjust his game. He's become more of a mid-range and low-post isolation guy who can make threes, but most of the threes he's getting are heavily contested, and with guys on him versus where last year he got a lot of catch, face up, spot up threes. And Tyler the same way. That's why those two guys' percentages are just a touchdown from where they've been in other years. It's the quality of shots we can generate for him. So Frankie hadn't worked so hard on his isolation game and his one-on-one game, he wouldn't be scoring at all because he's not scoring the ways he used to score.
Kenny, you have any question, Coach?
What was kind of your assessment of the team's play overall tonight?
Well, I thought we hit the two big keys, but that's not going to be enough if the other team has an outlier shooting threes like that. Like they've really shot the ball well since our game at their place. So I'm not suggesting that they can't make shots. I'm just saying that they had a guy kind of go bonkers who he made more threes and jumpers in that game you just watched than he had made November, December, and January added up. So that's going to be tough to overcome. And I'm frustrated we got beat, but I understand that these games are going to be like this. The league is really going to be a grind, and we're going to have to play well to win. And I thought we were just okay.
And you guys cut it to 3 with 10 minutes left in the game. Then Northeastern, they went on the run where they hit 4 threes under 2 minutes, and then they didn't miss a field goal in the last 5 minutes of the game. Kind of what's your assessment of that, and what do you think is the culprit of that collapse?
Well, they were 8 for 15 from 3, so we went zone, and they banged 3 in a row. And the reason we went zone is we couldn't guard them in man. We couldn't keep the ball in front. The threes they were getting were generated on driving it by us helping, them kicking and hitting threes. So we wanted to get them out of rhythm because they were in a really good rhythm. The first time they ran zone offense, we didn't bump fast like on the wing like we're supposed to, and we normally do, and they hit a corner 3. And then the second time they got it in the high post, and they zipped it out and extra past us and hit a relatively contested one. And the third one was to be honest, I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, we had the guard on top is supposed to be there, and for whatever reason, he ran to the weak side. He was there for 2 passes and then decided to take a cutter to the weak side, and they stood and shot, and we didn't have anybody within 50 feet of them. So, give them credit. They made them. I mean, you still got to make shots, and they did. But a couple of the zone ones were really bad. But that's, that was the game. Then once it gets to 15, I mean, you're really throwing Hail Marys at that point.
And you played a couple of freshmen in crunch time, and Toby and Leon. Tell me a little bit about that decision and how you feel they played.
Well, I thought Toby gave us a lift offensively. We needed to score, and we needed to play faster. And Toby can get to the rim and can generate some offense for himself and others a little quicker than the other guards. So we played him, and he responded and played well. And I thought Leon Nahar played extremely well. I mean, he got unlucky with he's going to get saddled with a turnover, but it was, I don't know that the stats say is it 1. I mean, it was a tough one. I mean, we had it. I mean, we came out and it was wide open, that backdoor cut to Tyler, and I thought it was a good pass, and that's a play that we've completed 99 times out of 100. Tonight just happened to be when you're running in mud some nights, you just can't get out of your own way. It was just another way to shoot ourselves in the foot instead of a 2-hand dunk and being a 5-point game with 5 minutes to go. The ball slips through our fingertips. They pick it up. They go down and score. And so now you're down 9 with 5 to go, and the game's really over. So, I thought that was a good example of us kind of, shooting ourselves in the foot more than anything. But I thought Leon was good. He took a charge, passed the ball well, Hit a corner three, made his free throws. He's going to be really, really good. We just, he just needs time and weight room, which he's working on.
Roger, questions for players?
Tyler, they seem to like, you made a bunch of sort of mid-range jump shots. Were you surprised that they didn't like come up to get you when you were in that situation? Because it was almost the same shot like 4 or 5 times. You looked in, they weren't close enough, you stuck it.
That was Tyler.
This is Toby.
Oh, Toby, I'm sorry. My bad.
It's all right. You're close. Same first
Did
letter.
you say Toby?
She was trying to hit you with a curveball. It's okay. It's all good, Roger. It's okay.
Frankie, the last 6 minutes of the first half. You've got a putback, a layup, a jumper, 2 free throws, and a 3. Tell us what was going on for you right there.
I mean, I was just in my spots, and it just, I kind of had a hot hand, so we did a good job getting me in my spots, and they were falling.
Does that happen organically, or are you trying at that point?
Nah, it just happens, Sometimes you just get in like a zone, so you just kind of just keep on hooping until until they prove they can stop it. So.
Toby, how do you see yourself sort of blending in with the group here?
I don't know, just doing what the coaches are saying. Like they've been trying to get me to play harder, so just trying to do that every day we go to practice, and yeah.
Do you like the more frenetic pace of when you guys are pressing?
Yeah, I like that. That's like where I come from. So that's how I play back home. So that's like what I like to do.
Where do you come from, meaning
Back
your
home.
school?
Yeah,
Oh,
back home.
or your town?
Yeah, that's how we play.
Okay. What do you think about the change in the conferences and what it's like? I mean, it seems like, this is sort of my thoughts on it, but it's like when you were in the America East, you beat the team on the road, you're going to sweep the series. It's not like that here, is it?
No, you just gotta come ready to play every day, and come ready to compete. Because if you don't come ready to compete, it's gonna be a tough time trying to just get a win. I mean, every team in this league is very similar. We're all very competitive, top to bottom. So you gotta be mentally locked in for a whole 40 minutes every game.
In the America East, it was always going to be a conference that was going to get one team into the tournament. With the way Charleston has played, there are a lot of people who sort of think that like Colonial could get 2. Does it feel like you're in a whole different sort of sphere playing in the Colonial?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just basketball. So we're just trying to focus on the next game and focus on ourselves. I mean, it would be pretty easy to get caught up in the outside stuff, but right now we're trying to stay together as a team and take it day by day and try to be the best team we could be heading into the playoffs. And then we can talk about that in March.
Did you kind of know that with making the jump that there might be some nights that were like this in this conference?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What were you sort of thinking about the chances that it was going to be like that?
I mean, coming to the conference, I just kind of didn't know what to expect, but I knew to expect that it was going to be a good jump up, and it was going to be really competitive for us, and it was going to be a good test for Stony Brook. And right now, I think we are hanging in there. We got a little things to fix, but we belong in this league, and we can compete at a high level.
Any questions for Toby or Frankie?
Yeah, Frankie, you had 15 in the first half. You had that 3-minute span. You'd scored 11 points. Second half, you only took 3 shots, and you made all of them. But was the defense playing you any differently, or do you think it was just a lack of opportunity?
Nah, they kind of started fronting me in the mid post. They were a little more hugged up on the weak side, kind of just trying to take away my spacing and stuff like that. But I think we did a good job of getting some back doors and stuff. That's why we got so many back doors in the second half, because there wasn't enough help. So we kind of like switched gears to that.
And what jumps out on the stat sheet is Northeastern shot 65% from 3. How do you feel about the team's defense today?
I mean, we we kind of had our lapses, but I mean that kind of happens throughout the game. You just got to cut down on the lapses. They were hot. I mean that happens in basketball. So today was their day, but it's alright. We'll come back ready to play Saturday.
And Toby, new career high tonight, 14 points. You know, how do you feel about your individual performance tonight?
I feel like I could have played better on defense side. Yeah, got teammates the ball a little better, but yeah.
And you know, what is something that you feel the team lacked today that you know needs to be improved upon going forward?
I just think the little run we had, what they had when they was hitting threes, but we can get better at that.
All right, thank you guys.
All right. Good job, Toby.